Shalom, Israel. Shalom, his brother Nashan, New Wine Congregation of Israel. This is gonna be law school. I don't know what happened. Uh, we did law school, Deuteronomy chapter 22 Tuesday. For some reason, it's not uploaded on the page. So I'm gonna do it again. Um, just to try to make sure that it's up there in the archives, right? So let me share the screen. Before I do, let me send up some prayers, man. Let me see where the east at. Oh, I'm facing the east. God, I'm ready. All right, so let's send up some prayers and we'll get started. Abba, Father in heaven, we humbly bow before your throne and say thank you, Father. Thank you for waking us up, for blessing us with another day to worship you, to praise you, to magnify you through the ministry of your of teaching your people, God, the Israelites. Father, we ask that you forgive us for our sins. We pray for discernment and understanding of the scriptures and the ability to apply what we learn, Father. Thank you so much for the Bible, the scriptures, your written word. Thank you for giving us the instructions of life and what we should do to live. Thank you so much for being patient with us, for being long suffering. We pray that you wipe away all our sins, Father, blot out all our transgressions, Father. We pray that we make it to the kingdom. We pray that we bring glory to your name and not shame. All these things we pray through the blood of your son, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Amen. All right, let me share the screen. All praise and all honor and glory to the Lord. All right. Jumping back on Zoom, man. I ain't been on Zoom in a minute, but I'm gonna use it for the sake of this class. All right. Let's go to the Bible. I had my beats up. Now I don't know anybody know I be doing the music. I had my beats up. Close this out. All right, let me open up another sword with the Apocrypha. Get another sword just for goodness. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 22. Like I said, we did this. I don't know what happened. Brother told me after the class, he was like, it cut out during like before I was finished, it just cut out, it just stopped. So I don't know what happened. So if anybody's been looking for it, that's probably why you hadn't seen it. So I'm gonna try my best to make sure this one gets up here through the spirit of the Lord. Man. So let's get started. All right, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 1. It says, thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. All right, so you can't see your brother's sheep or ox go astray, right? And hide thyself from them, meaning you act like you didn't see it. But you, instead of doing that, you shall in any case bring them again to thy brother. Restore your brother back what he has lost, right? You may that may be the same thing in the case of a dog or a cat or some type of pet that they have, right? Or it could be something that's not an animal, right? It could be they lose their Bible dictionary. I lost my Bible dictionary at camp one time, you know what I'm saying? So brothers come looking for their belongings, you should restore that back to that brother, right? That's in the law. It says verse 2. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, if this brother don't live in the city you stay in or in the state you stay in, right? It says, or if thou know him not, you don't, you basically, you just seen somebody's sheep wandering around, right? You see somebody, you see a brother lost his apocrypha. Somebody lost their apocrypha at camp. I'm trying to put it in a layman's term today, right? Somebody lost their apocrypha. You leave in camp and you know that somebody's apocrypha is on the ground. You don't know whose it is. Everybody's gone. You the last brother to leave. You just pick the apocrypha up, right? So you supposed to keep it, right? It says, if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house. Bring that brother's stuff in your house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it. Some brother he eventually a brother will come looking for his stuff. Hey, anybody seen my apocrypha? I lost it, man. That's the one I started out with. You know, brothers hold a Bible and the Apocrypha near and dear to them, man, especially that first one they get. You know, that's why they be like tattered up, you know what I'm saying? No cover. The binding be gone, you know what I'm saying? Brothers be trying to tape that thing up. Brothers hold that type of thing near and dear to them, man. So you should be glad to restore that to that brother. It says, and thou shalt restore it to him again, right? You have to restore it to him again. It says, in like manner, thou shalt in like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment. If your brother leave his jack, it's a feast day. A brother or sister, sister left her head wrap, right? You notice after the feast day, a sister's head wrap is on, or her shawl is on the couch. You're supposed to put that up because you know it belonged to somebody. Don't just try to, oh, I'm gonna wear this when I know I ain't around the congregation. Nah, that's the wrong spirit to have. It says, and with all lost thing of thy brothers or sisters, which he has lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself, meaning don't try to conceal the fact that you have this person's stuff, right? You can't do that. Salaki, right? You cannot do that. That's off to do that. It says, thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him lift them up again. Right? So you shouldn't, like a ox would be used a lot of times to farm and stuff like that, or pull a chariot, you know what I'm saying, sometimes. Okay, so it's saying you shouldn't see your brother. Maybe it was a ditch that the brother didn't know or see on his way, on his route. You shouldn't see that brother fall, get in a jam, basically, and not go over there to help him out. Same thing as if you see you riding, you see one of your brothers or one of your sisters, they got a flat tire. They out there, it's raining. They got the little tire iron and the jack trying to figure it out. You shouldn't just keep going. You shouldn't just keep riding and say, dang, all praises, most high Christ, bless. Whatever it is, you shouldn't say that, man. You should pull the car over and go over there and help that person, right? Go over there and help your brother, man, right? So don't be that type of Israelite to just, especially, and you know who be quick to do that? Somebody who see somebody they don't like, right? It's another Israelite. Oh, that's good for them, right? That's good for them that they car broke down. That's just nah. You go over there and help that person, right? Let me get this precept. Even if it's your enemy, that's the person you need to help the most. Let me see. All right, let's go to the book of Romans real quick. Chapter 12 and verse 20. It says, therefore, I'm gonna start at 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thy enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Right? So like it, even more so, you see your brother, your sister in a jam that you don't like, you got to art with them. That's the one you for sure need to go over, pull the car over and go help him, right? Because you said what? Thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. That's really vengeance, right? But vengeance through the spirit, you overcome evil with good, right? So that's the mindset you gotta have. Always got to be willing to help your brothers or sisters out. Thus saith the Lord, if they fall on hard times or if they in a jam of any type, right? Verse 25. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Right? So a woman cannot, this is talking about clothes. Okay. A woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. What pertains unto a man? Chiefly pants, right? Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. What pertains to a woman? A dress or a skirt. You can't cross dress in Israel, right? We cannot do that. Let me show you something. Let's just get it. An image of it. See that? Men and women bathroom sign. All right. You see how you know the woman, she got on a dress. The man got on pants. If it was if this was supposed to be the man, that's confusion. All right. If that's the woman, that's confusion. Everybody knows this, man. The woman is supposed to wear a dress. It's a new thing for women to start wearing pants. All right, let me get this. Because what you find out is women started wearing pants fairly. It's a new thing, right? It says 1851. The first woman in history to wear trousers was Elizabeth Smith Miller, known as Libby, in 1851. The female outfit with trousers became famous thanks to American activist Amelia Bloomer, who published it in her magazine, The Lily, in 1855. Right? Amelia Bloomer, that's where you get the term bloomers from, right? But chiefly, now this says this was the first woman to wear trousers, right? In 1851, right? But it was look at this. It says, when did it become acceptable for women to wear pants? Indianapolis, no matter what they were called, pants, slacks, trousers were off limits to women for much of recorded history. Where they get that from? The Bible. In the United States, it wasn't until 1923 that the attorney general declared it was okay for women to wear pants in public. So it was against the law up until 1923 in Esau's law, right? It was against the law tonight. And then even still, you look at some of these old movies like The Temptations, it's the 60s. They still was the women was still wearing dresses, man. So it's a new thing. It's a fairly new thing for a woman to wear pants. It's not a commonly thing, a normal thing, right? It's become normal now. Let's go to First Timothy. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, right? What is modest apparel? Right? Let's go into it. Apparel. It says a lowering down, letting down, a garment let down. You don't let down or lower down pants, all right, unless you trying to pee, right? But when you put it on, you gotta do all. Some of the women be wearing the tight pants. They doing all type of gymnastics to get into the pants, right? It says you don't do that with a dress, right? It says a lowering down, letting down, a garment let down, dress, right? Dress, attire, all right? So that's modest apparel. That's the type of apparel it's talking about. All right, so let's go here. Let me show you some more proof. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. Now, this is a prophecy about Babylon the Great. But the reason I'm going here is because Babylon the Great portrays itself as a righteous woman, right? So let's see how a righteous woman is to portray herself in her dress, right? It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Why is she called tender and delicate? Because she portrays herself as righteous. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Meaning what? She had a head wrap on. Our women always would keep their heads covered. Why? Because that's a sign of subjection. Let me get that. That's a sign of being in subjection to the power that's over you, right? First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 10 says, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. It says, oh, is that what I want? Uh, I know the one where it say a woman prophesying with her head covered. All right, that's verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. Right? It says, but if a woman be not covered, let her be shorn or shave her head. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. Right? It's a shame for a woman to walk around with a bald head. All right. So that for that same reason, she should be covered. It says, for indeed a man not to cover his head. So a man shouldn't cover his head, a woman should cover her head. Right? So let's go back. It says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Now, the leg is the portion of the leg. The leg is considered from your ankle to your knee. All right, we're gonna show you. It says, because she's getting ready to pass over the rivers, like it says right here. She's lifting up her dress so that she can walk over a body of water. Okay, that's the thing. That's the what you got going on here. So it says, uncover thy locks, take that head wrap off, make bare the leg, pull your dress up. Your leg is your knee to your ankle. So that's where your dress should come down to. Your leg shouldn't be showing in your dress. All right. If the dress is just not quite there, some sisters wear leggings under their dress to compensate for the length. But chiefly, you want to, I know it's hard, sisters, to find modest apparel nowadays, because of just they promote wickedness in the world. You know what I'm saying? So but chiefly, you want your dress to come down to your ankle if you can help it. That way, when you sit down, your whole leg ain't showing or your thigh ain't showing. It says, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh. So the thigh is from your knee to your hip. That's your thigh. All right. So righteous women had dresses they had their heads covered and they went down, they dress went down to the ankle, right? And we don't say these, sisters a lot of time they feel like we just be getting on them, but we just want to see our sisters back in order, right? We hate to see our sisters out of order, right? It says, matter of fact, let me get this in Jeremiah. Because the Lord said that's an abomination. I think it's 44, no, 40. Let me see. What is abomination? Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 4. All right, it says, howbeit I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate. So an abominable thing is something that's disgusting or something that the Lord hates. All right. So he says here, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are are abomination, are disgusting to the Lord. Right? It's disgusting for the Lord to see us cross-dressing. Right? He hates that unto the Lord thy God. Right? So let's go here now to lamentation, because sisters think a lot of times we tell the sisters and brothers, we realize and we have talks about it, you know what I'm saying? And each and we all, each and every one of us, including myself, are realizing that our people out here are lost, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what's going on. They don't know what the Bible says until somebody tell them, till we tell them. So we trying to refine our teaching. We trying to be more have more of a meek spirit and a patient spirit. You know what I'm saying? Especially with our sisters, man, because they get a lot of times they get riled up when we tell them they gotta dress modest. Sis, you gotta put on some clothes. It don't matter how you say it, right? A lot of times they just get they feelings be hurt, man. They think it's because we trying to embarrass them, right? But it's not that. It's really is not like it's not that, man. The only thing we trying to do is save you, save your life. Right? This is how we feel when we see our sisters out there like this. This Lamentations 3 and 48, it says, my eye runneth down with rivers of water for the destruction of the daughters of my people. Right? Our sisters are destroyed, man. They got the blonde lace fronts on, right? It's you every time you see a sister, almost she got lace front on. You rarely see a sister with just her hair, her fro, or her whatever she got going on her head, right? Our sisters, they're destroyed and thinking that they aren't beautiful. They thinking that they not the ones, that they need to look like the other nations. I need to have that yaki, or I need to have my hair like the Elamite woman. No, yo, kinky, curly, nappy hair is beautiful, sis. It hurts us men to see our sisters feel like they don't think that they the ones. Imagine seeing a Edomite lady with a damn nappy afro, lace front. You look at her like she crazy. You look at her like, what she got going on? Why she doing that? Well, that's how we look at our sisters now when we see them with the blonde in their hair, strong blonde hair, right? It's like you want to look like your oppressors, but our sisters are destroyed, right? Our men are destroyed too. They blonde in their hair. They got on dresses, some of them, right? They got the weave in their hair, right? But chiefly our sisters, man, to see the most beautiful women on the planet not acting and believing and behaving like they don't think they are. They'll say they think they are, but it's only when they look like they oppressive, right? It says, my eye runneth down with rivers of water for the destruction of the daughter of my people. My eye trickleth down and ceases not. We sad over this, man, without any intermission, till the Lord look down and behold from heaven. We waiting on the Lord to look down and behold and see what's going on, man, and fix us as a nation, man. It says, my eye affecteth mine heart because of all the daughters of my city, right? And when I look at the daughters of my city, man, any city, right? But when I we'll go to my city and see the women, man, we out teaching and I see them just shamelessly showing their bodies, man. It hurts you, man. And it brings you to the point of sadness and anger at the same times a lot of times. But as men of the Lord, we working on, what I'm saying, controlling our emotions more and controlling that zeal more and funneling it and facilitating it in a way that it don't cause more hurt than good. We working on it, y'all. I just want y'all to know we really, really trying. We talk about it. We praying about it. We fasting about it. We doing things about it to try to make sure that we can reach our people the best way that we can. So we just ask that, you know what I'm saying, any sister that's watching this, man, please don't be offended if you hear us say, look, the way you dressed is dressed like a harlot, or you dressing like a whore, or you gotta be modest, or you know what I'm saying, it's all love. It's all just to correct you and reprove you so that you can get the kingdom. All right. So I just want to touch on that, man, because I know that's a big deal. Deuteronomy 22:5, man. It's like, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of sisters run from that. They don't want to hear that, man. But nonetheless, verse 6, Deuteronomy 22:6, it says, if a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. So if you walk and you see, I was doing some yard work yesterday, right? And I was cutting limbs down, but because I know this law is here now I was like mindful at least to look for birds' nests. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to disturb the nest or anything like that if I would have seen one. Back in the day, we get the nest and crack the eggs open. We didn't give a damn when we was young. We were ignorant to the things of the Lord. But all praises, man. Now I didn't even know this was a law. It says if a bird's nest, if you just see a bird's nest, right? And this is in terms of like for food or something, right? You shall not take the dam sitting upon the young. You should not take the dam with the young, right? You can't take the mother and the eggs, right? It says, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, let the mother go. Why? Because she can have some more eggs, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee. The Lord, you'll get bad. You'll have a bad. You'll get judged for that. Excuse me, Salakia. You'll get judged for that, man. For breaking this law, that it may go well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. The Lord will cut your days short, right? For taking that mother with those children. You gotta let the dam go. You gotta let the mother go, right? You can't just take it all, be greedy, right? And because that stops that bird from producing more life, right? Right. Let's keep going. It says, verse 8, when thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thy house, if any man fall from this, right? So what's a battlement? Let's look that up. Let me see if it'll do it like this. I want a picture. So let me go over here. Right. This is a battlement. You see how it's like basically you got a wall around your roof. That's a battlement. All right. You had to put that on your roof. All right. And so that's for brothers building houses too, man. If you fortunate enough to own a house or get a house built, you want to put a battlement on your house, man. You want to put some type of battlement on your house. If you're fortunate to be able to have the means to build you a home, hey, the law says you have to put a battlement on your house. You may have the only house that look like that. The only house in the HOA might be on you about it, right? But that's why we got to get our own land, get away from all these heathen, man. Right? But that's a battlement. When thou buildest a new house. So it's command, that's a law, man. When you build, you get you some money. If you build you a new house, man, you gotta have a battlement for the roof. that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from this. Right? So you can't just say, well, we in America now. I'm not building that on my house, man. No, the Lord said build a battlement on your roof, man. You have to do that. All right. It says, let's keep going. It says, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. So you can't sow your vineyard with diverse seeds, right? And through the spirit, right? This is talking about Israel, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah. What's the vineyard of the Lord? Isaiah chapter 5. Right? Let me get verse 7. Right? It says, for the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the man of Judah is his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, and behold, oppression for righteousness, but behold, a cry. Right? So the vineyard of the Lord is Israel. Right? So this is spiritual. It says, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds. Right? Let's go to the book of Mark. With diverse seeds. Right? What's that mean? What's that going into? Now, literally, you can't sow your literal vineyard or garden with diverse seeds. You got to have everything sectioned off, right? But in the original, when I originally did this class, I wasn't I said something about this. I was like, this is spiritual. So I'm gonna go into it now, right? Um, right. So this is Mark chapter 4 in verse 2, it says, and he taught them many things by parables and said unto them in his doctrine, hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. Right. So this is a sower. The sower is somebody who's teaching the Bible. Right. So when they say you can't sow the vineyard with diverse seed, meaning what? You can't go into the vineyard, the house of Israel. You can't go to the highways and byways and be teaching diverse doctrines, right? Diverse doctrines other than the doctrine of the Lord. The doctrine of the Lord is the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Revelation 14:12, the saints are the ones, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they who keep the faith in Yahweh Shai and the commandments of Yahweh. That's the doctrine we gotta sow, right? Not these diverse doctrines talking about nothing other than that. Anything other than that is a diverse doctrine, right? So it says the fowls of the air came and devoured it up, and some fell on stony ground, and where it had much earth, and immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of earth. All right. So some of these people you teach, it's gonna fall on stony ground, meaning what? They not able to get rooted in the word, right? They like how it sounds, but they not able to get rooted. It says, but when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it was had no root, it withered away. Because the sun was up, when the heat got turned up, right? It was scorched because it had no root and withered away. And some fell on among thorns, and the thorns grew, and it choked it, and it yielded no fruit. Right. So some people, if the word fell on thorns and it didn't quite get to the ground, right? Or if the ones that fell in the ground, they tried to grow through them thorns, and the thorns choked it, right? It didn't give it room to grow. That's how some people are in this truth, man. They got too much going on, right? They got too much going on, too many things around them that's choking them from growing, right? And you don't want to be that type of person, man. It's real easy to fall in that predicament. All you got to do is make a few wrong choices. All right, a few wrong choices. That's why it's important to be patient in this truth, man. It says, and other fell on good ground and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth Psalm 30 and Psalm 60 and some and 100. So, all right, so some people are gonna get rooted, right? But not everybody's gonna be on the same level. Some people are gonna increase 30-fold, some 60, and some 100-fold, right? Not everybody's gonna bring forth the same amount of fruit. He said, and he said unto them, he that have ears to hear, let him hear. If you got ability to understand what's going on, then all praises to the Lord, right? So let's go back. So it says, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. So teaching diverse doctrines can defile Israel. Telling the women that it's all right, you can wear those pants. It's all right, brother. You ain't got to keep your beard. You can shave it. All right. Telling them you keep the Sabbath whenever you want. That's diverse seeds. You're gonna defile Israel like that, man. So you can't do that. And you gotta plant your watermelons over here. You gotta plant your grapes over here. You gotta have everything sectioned off. You can't have it just growing together. That would create hybrid fruit, right? Which is defiled fruit. They sell hybrid fruit in the grocery store. They got white strawberries. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the exact name of them, but some of this stuff, it look crazy, man. You can't have it together like that. Right? It says, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. So that's two different types of animals. You can't plow with an ox and an ass. You gotta have those animals separate. All right. You can't put them in the same yoke together, right? What's that going into? Let's go to the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 6. In verse 14, this is where Paul got it through the Spirit. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So a yoke is something that keeps animals locked in tandem together so that they move together and work together, right? So you don't want to be in tandem with an unbeliever. You don't want to be yoked together with an unbeliever because y'all don't have the same priority. Y'all don't have the same mindset. An ass and an ox got two different trains of thought. They got two different ways of operating. One is stronger than the other, right? So you could tilt the whole operation over that you got going on by yoking them two animals together. The same way with people. You don't want to be yoked together with unbelievers, right? What does it say? Let me get that. Right? Where is that? If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time. All right, Sirach 27, Sirach 27 and verse 12. Thank you. Right. So yeah, you're not gonna always be where you can just be away from people who don't believe. Right. That's not gonna happen because you live in this world. But if you are, this is what the Bible says. It says, if thou be among the indiscreet is somebody that don't keep the commandments. Observe the time, right? So that could be your mom, right? Or your brother. You don't want to just hang out all weekend, right? You want to kind of be looking at the time. You may go visit, see, or help with something, or handle some business, or whatever the case. It said, but observe the time. You need to be looking at that clock. Okay, it done been a few hours now. It's time to go, right? You don't want to just be there, especially if it's not out of necessity, right? Sometimes you may fall on the hard times and you may gotta live in your parents' basement or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if it's not out of necessity and you just going over there to kick it with your cousins who smoke weed, right? And you want to go do a song with your sister, and you know she be thoughting all day, right? It says observe the time. It says, but be continually among men of understanding and women of understanding. Be continually. Continually means all the time. That's who you need to be around all the time, right? So let's go back. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? Those two things don't go together, right? They don't go together. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 13, and verse 15. It says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. Right? So every beast loveth his like, meaning what? All birds of a feather flock together. Right? If you like being over there with your cousin Lily and she deal with 6 different dudes and they all pulling up at different times, and you probably, even though you got them fringes and the head wrap on, you probably still like that in the spirit. Your spirit's still like that. All right. Or if you still over there with your cousin Ray Ray, all right, and he roll up every 5 minutes, right? He keep one roll. While he's smoking, he got one roll. And you like, nah, I don't smoke no more. I'm just, people get that, take that out of context when they be like, well, yeah, Howard Shah was around people who was, he wasn't just hanging there though. He was out there bringing out the word. He was rebuking them. He was teaching them, right? He wasn't just being amongst them like that. It says, all flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So if you like being in the word, in the scriptures, if that's really you, that's who you're going to be around. You're not going to be around people who are against the Bible, right? All flesh consorted to his like, a kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So it's the same thing. A lot of these things in this chapter, they're spiritual, right? They're spiritual. It says, verse 11. So it says, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Verse 11, thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together, right? You shouldn't wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Wool comes from a sheep. Linen comes from a plant, right? One comes from an animal, one comes from a plant. You can't put now people, you have people who understand this to say, I gotta wear 100% cotton, or it gotta be 100% silk. I mean, I understand it. I'm speaking for me and my household, and from my understanding, I read this as is how it says, right? Let's look at another verse. Um, right? It says, ye shall, this is the ESV, you shall not wear a cloth of wool and linen mixed together. So it's saying, I understand this is where it's saying, like it's saying, don't wear a garment with both wool and linen, not adding or taking away from what it say. It say, don't wear something with wool and linen together. So, I mean, you like, people be like, I'm gonna wear 100% whatever fabric I'm wearing, but then they got on tennis shoes, right? Well, or they got a belt on. Or unless your belt usually got threads in it, right? If you got a zipper, right? You got a metal zipper, it's all divert. You got on denim jeans, that's not one type of material, right? So it's very, very difficult. Not saying you got on a watch, right? I mean, you got on different types of materials. Most places, most things you put on, right? So I understand this to do it as it's written, the way that it says, right? I don't wear garments with wool and linen together, but if you can get you some 100% cotton, 100% linen, 100% silk sandals or whatever it is you got going on, you know, hey, all praises. You know, don't make sure you ain't got no rubber soles, because you know what I'm saying, it got to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I understand that, right? So don't wear garments of diverse, as of woolen and linen. All right. So let's keep going. It says, Salak, it says, thou shalt not make the, it says, thou shalt make the fringes upon the four quarters, Salak. Right, Salak. It says, thou shalt make the fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Right. So I talked with brothers about this a while ago. You know, chiefly in New Wine, we believe in wearing fringes, right? You see some camps, they wear the tassels, right? Now, am I saying if that's all you can get, that you in sin, you gonna get the lake of fire? I mean, nah, when I first came in the truth, that's what I was gonna get. You know what I'm saying? I was, because I felt like that was the easiest thing to do, right? The easiest thing to do was to go get them tassels and clip them on, and just like that's what you see Amalek wearing, right? The tassels, right? Let me show you what I mean, right? That's what you see them wearing, right? So these are the tassels, right? And you see some brothers, you see they got the fringes and the tassels on. He got fringes and the tassels, right? The ribbon of blue and the tassel. See right here, Amalek got them on. You got some, right? You got some, Israelites, Hebrew Israelites who wear those. So am I saying that you're gonna get the lake for wearing them? No, I'm not saying that. Right. What I'm saying is from the way that we understand it and the way that our spirit bear witness with it, we fringes, right? We wear fringes all the way around, right? A four quarter. Now, this is why a lot of times brothers go with that. It says the four quarters of thy vesture. So they put four tassels on, right? So, but the way I understand it is fringes, when you got fringes on, like, let me see. I don't know if you can see, right? Fringes are tassels, right? Fringes are tassels. You see the ribbon of blue, but for what I see, tassels aren't fringes. All right, fringes are tassels, but tassels aren't fringes, if you understand what I'm saying. So in New Wine Congregation of Israel, chiefly we wear fringes. But if that's all you can get is some tassels to start out with, hey, all praises to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But I would encourage you to get you some fringes, all right? Like it says here, the four quarters of thy vesture. So let's go into another verse, all right? It says here, you shall make yourself tassels on the four corners of your garment with you cover yourself. So it says tassels, right? But like I said, those are tassels. What does the tassels represent? The tassels, the fringes represent the law. Let's go to Numbers 15 and verse 38, 15 and verse 35. It says, 13 and 38. It says, speak unto the children of Israel and bid them, command them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments. So it says fringes here. If you go into the word fringes, it says tassels or zeets. So, like I said, fringes are zeets, but zeets aren't fringes, right? It says in the borders of their garments throughout their generations forever, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue, right? So you got to have a ribbon of blue on your fringes, and it shall be unto you for a fringe that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord. So the purpose of the fringes is to remember all the commandments of the Lord. So we got over 600 commandments of the Lord, right? So this looks like that. It looks like that represents all the commandments of the Lord, if you could see it, right? The four tassels don't look like it represent all the commandments of the Lord. It's supposed to look like a number of them, a bunch of commandments, because that's what we got, a bunch of commandments. But let's go back. right? It says here, this is the ESV, it says, you shall make yourself tassels on the four corners of your garment, right? Now, four corners, you got to understand. Let's go to the book of, let me see, Deuteronomy chapter 4. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 11, right? And verse 12. It says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Now, does that mean that Israel, the dispersed of Judah, is just in the four corners of earth, not just literally only in four corners? No, it's talking about the four cardinal directions, north, east, south, west, right? So, but Israel is all over the globe, right? All the way over the globe. Like, watch this. Let me give you an example. Let's look at a clock. Even if you say quarters of your vestures, right? So this is a clock. All right. So this is a clock, right? Basic clock. They trying to sell a clock, but we just looking at it for the sake of a clock. So if this long hand, short hand is on 12 and this long hand is on the 3, that's a quarter past 12. Is the quarter just the 3, or is it made up of all this space in between the 12 and the 3? All right, same thing if the 6, if it's 6:30, that's another quarter. It's made up of all the space from the 12 to the 6. Same thing if it's 9:45, quarter to 1. 12:45, quarter to 1. It's made up of all the space from 12 to 9 between there, not just the corners, right? So that's how I understand it. To where it's like my spirit bear witness that you gotta wear fringes all the way around the corner, the hem of your garment, all right, with a ribbon of blue on it. All right. So let's go back. So we gotta wear fringes on our garments. All right. Get you some fringes if you hadn't yet. If you need help getting some fringes, we'll help you get some fringes, man. Because that's a law. All right. It says, thou, I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 20:12, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thy covers thyself. So, sisters, you can put them at the bottom of your skirt or the bottom of your dress or the bottom of your jacket or your t-shirt. Brothers chiefly wear them on the bottom of their t-shirts. We got it a little easier than the sisters, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta wear you some fringes. All right, let's keep going. It says, if any man take a wife, verse 13, and go in unto her and hate her, right, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, Salaki, I found her not a maid. So this is dealing with a brother who he just married a woman, and they basically at the wedding feast. The wedding feast would usually be a week, right? Some people who had it like that, like Tobit parents, they did theirs for 14 days. You know what I'm saying? But our weddings were not like how we do today, just a wedding, the reception, everybody go home. No, it was like a big deal, right? It lasted at least 7 days. All right. So this is what would happen. You would have a wedding feast, then the brother would the families would meet at the wedding feast. Then they would the man, the bride and the groom would go into the wedding chamber and they would consummate their marriage. They would have sex. All right. So this is what that's talking about. If they go into that wedding chamber and have sex, and this man says, look, She wasn't no virgin. I paid the price for a virgin. My dad paid the dowry for a virgin, and it turns out she's been having sex. That's what this is going into. Salaki. All right, so it says, verse 14 again. It says, and give occasions of speech against her. She's not a virgin, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. So the tokens of virginity are the sheets with the blood. When you break a woman's hymen, I think I'm saying it right. If she's a virgin, she's gonna bleed. All right. If it's her first time having sex, when usually that woman is gonna bleed, right? Because you broke the hymen. Okay, I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, forgive me. But that blood would be on those sheets if she's truly a virgin. Right? It's rare. I've heard of some instances where a woman who was a virgin had sex and the hymen didn't break. All right. I'll leave that there. But that's rare. At least I believe that's rare. Okay. Usually that there's gonna be some blood. All right. There's gonna be some blood. And that blood is supposed to be on them sheets. That's the tokens of virginity. All right. That's the proof of her virginity. All right. So it says, if that was the case, that man accused her of not being a virgin, then the mom and the daddy would go in the marriage chamber and get them sheets and show them to the elders of the city. It says, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. Look, the blood on the sheets. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. So this is a big deal, right? This is you're accusing this man of breaking the laws of God. What the Lord said, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, right? So if she had been having sex all this time before marriage, she would have been behaving as a whore. You making an evil name on her, and you making an evil name on her household, right? Because for a man to have a daughter, like that's bringing a lot of glory to that man to raise his daughter up, and she's a virgin until she gets a husband. All right, that's a lot. That's a big deal. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. Sirach chapter 7 and verse. So you got to watch your daughters, man. Verse 23 says, has thou children, instruct them and bow down their neck from their youth. So you got a son or a daughter, you got to be on them, right? Watch this. It says, has thou daughters, have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful towards them. So you can't play with your daughter, right? You got to be stern and austere with your daughter. All that laying all in your lap and stuff. Nah, man. You got to treat her like a child, right? It says, marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. You want to give your daughter to a man who keeps the commandments, right? And chiefly back then, we would arrange our marriages, right? The women nowadays, they have the luxury to pick and choose. I want to be with this brother. I want to be with that brother. Back then, it wasn't like that. A woman was just happy and appreciative of the fact that she was getting a husband. So she didn't care about how he looked, what kind of house he had. No, if your father came to you and said, "Look, this gonna be your husband," hey, that was what it was. You know what I'm saying? And you was happy with that, right? So it says, marry thy daughter, but give her to a man of understanding. So as Israel waking up and coming back to our laws, statutes, and commandments, we got to come back to all of the laws, right? Brothers, start giving your daughters to the men of understanding, right? Don't give your daughters so much free reign, right? Watch this. Sirach 42 and verse 9 says, the father waketh for the daughter, when no man knoweth, and a care for her taketh away sleep. Right? So men feel a certain way towards their daughters. It says, when she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated, just like we just read. Right? If you don't give special care towards your daughter and raise her up in the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, then she could be hated when she get married. Meaning what? The man find out she was dealt with already, or that she just not submissive. She don't know how to take she don't know how to listen to her head. Right? That's the thing the father is supposed to teach his daughter before she gets a husband. Right? It says in her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. So she's defiled. A woman's defiled to have gotten children in her father's house. She's still living at home with her parents. And you already she got children already. No, she should be with her husband. It says in having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself. She misbehaves herself when she's unsubmissive to her husband. Right? It says, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. Right? Now, it's a shameful thing for women to experience barrenness back then. Now times women don't want children. They don't even want no kids. They just want to be not having children their whole life, right? It says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. So if you know your daughter fast, you got to keep a sure watch over her, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemy, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Right? So you want to keep a sure watch over your daughter, man. Brothers with daughters, got a lot of brothers. I'm finna have a daughter, most high willing. You know, brothers just had daughters, you know. Uh, gotta keep a sure watch over those daughters, man. And don't play with them, right? Don't play with them, right? Do not play with your daughter. All right. Let's keep going. So this is what it's talking about, verse 17. And lo, so the father, he's like, oh, what's going on? I know I raised my daughter, right? He giving occasions of speech against her, saying she a whore. It says, and I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. They will beat his ass. It says, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon the virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his days. So you can't put her away because you brought up an evil name on that sister, right? It says, but if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. So your woman could not be deceptive and let her father present her as a virgin to a man. He go through the dowry process. He proving his sister. They had a wedding feast. If she was deceptive and letting people think she was a virgin, she gotta die. She gotta die, right? That's why when you read about Mary and Joseph, right, that was a big deal because she was espoused to Joseph. She just didn't know it. All right, we did a whole class on the Virgin Mary. If you don't understand that, go watch that class. All right, but understanding our culture and the way we did weddings will help you to understand what's going on. Right, the New Testament is the Old Testament abbreviated, so they don't say a lot of things that they believe are understood. Right, they believe you understand all of this that we bringing out right now. Right, so she would have to die. All right, let's keep going. Verse 22, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. That's adultery. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both a man and that woman, both a man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel. It's evil to commit adultery, man. You can't sleep with another brother's wife. That is evil, right? So it's adultery for a man to sleep with another woman's wife, for a man to sleep with another man's wife. It says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, right, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then shall ye bring them both out unto the gate of that city. So betrothed means she's engaged, what we call it today. She's engaged to a man, right? Then if a man lie with a woman who's engaged to a man, she's entered into a contract to be married to a man. That's her. She basically is married to him. They just haven't consummated the marriage. So sisters, understand, when you decide that you are betrothed to a man, you can't break that. Like sisters break their engagement all the time in the world. In Israel, you cannot do that. You are bound to that man at that point because that's your husband. That's why it says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out into the gate of the city and of the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. Same judgment if a man sleeps with another man's wife, because that is his wife. If he's betrothed to her, engaged to her, they've agreed to be married to each other at a certain date. They're going to have a wedding feast and consummate the marriage. The Lord looked at that as they're married. They've made a covenant together, right? So it says, the damsel, because she cried not, she wasn't getting raped. She didn't say stop, no, 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 being in the city. So she was in the city. She should have cried out. She could have called the police. She could have did something. It says, and the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife. So that's his neighbor's wife when she's betrothed to him. No matter if they've consummated the marriage or not, she's decided and he's decided that they want to come together and be married. They are married. You are bound. So sis, be mindful of that. Let's go to the book of Romans. So ain't you can prove a brother, y'all can prove each other, and you say, well, I decide I don't want to do that. That's different. Proving and betrothed is not the same. Proving is y'all getting to know each other. I want to see what you like, what you don't like, how you are in the scriptures, what your faith like. That's proven. But betrothal is marriage, right? Sex is definitely marriage, right? Let's get this in Romans. Right, Romans 7:2, it says, for the man which hath an husband, for the woman, Salakia, which hath an husband is bound by law to her husband so long as he liveth. So you can go to the court and get a divorce from Esau, but the Lord said, if you got a husband, you bound to him by the laws of God as long as that man is alive. That's what it say. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. The only way you can the only way you can get a divorce from your husband is that man is dead. If he alive, that's your husband. No matter how many divorce papers and lawyers you go get, that's your husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. If you say to hell with that Bible and you go marry another man, you commit an adultery the whole time you with that man. But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. That's plain. It's not hard to understand. So you married. So sis, if you get betrothed, you need to be sure you want to marry that man. It's a done deal at that point, right? It says, so let me read it again. Then ye shall bring them both out into the gate of the city, that ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried, not being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So, Salakia, thou shalt put away evil from among you. That's adultery. That's evil, right? It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, if a man find a woman that's engaged, promised to a man, married, then the man force her. Now you got camps in Israel saying it's okay to rape women, right? They saying it's okay to rape women. Let me get that. This is why they saying that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 16. This is why you got camps saying it's okay to rape women, chiefly the heathen, right? But it's not. It says, so let me start at verse. So this is going, let's start at verse 13. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts and in the day of his fierce anger. So this is judgment day, right? It says, and it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people. Every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land, right? It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So get out of these interracial relationships if you in one, right? It says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Psalm 137 and 7 on down. Esau chiefly, right? It says, their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. So brothers read this and say, ooh, we get to rape the white girl. That's not what they're talking about. That's going to be being done by the other nations. The other nations going to be raping other women, other people's women, not Israelites, because we keep the law. We are being taught the law. We coming back to the law. So the law say, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field and the man force her, right, and lie with her, the man only that lay with her shall die because he raped her. Lock it. He raped that girl. He raped that woman. You can't do that. You gotta die for that. That's a very, 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 very serious offense to rape somebody. Right? It's not okay. The Lord has given no man. Let me get that. All right, in the book of Sirach, chapter 15 and verse 20. Right? It says, he have commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have given any man license to sin. So the Lord don't give you license to sin. He don't regulate sin. He don't never tell you it's okay to sin. He have commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have he given any man license to sin. He ain't told no man, he ain't said no man, all right, it's all right for you to commit fornication. It's all right for you to do adultery. It's all right for you. We gonna commit fornication in the kingdom. It'll be cool. No, it's all right to rape them Edomites. No, is he giving no man license to sin? Right? Let's go back. So that's on rape, but man find betrothed damsel in the field and man force her and lie with her, the man only, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor, somebody breaking your house and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Is this matter. So that's what it's like. Somebody broke in your house and you killed them, right? It's the same type of thing, right? That's like murder to rape somebody, right? It says, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and she gotta call the police. She gotta do something to let us know she wasn't with the shit. She can't just be quiet about it. No, you got women that's getting raped and not saying nothing, man. That means you holding your peace is like you consenting to it. No, if you get raped, you need to say something. Don't be like, oh, it's a secret. Don't skip. No, that means you consenting to it. You need to cry out. If you cried out during the engagement of the rape, and nobody was around to hear, then afterwards you need to cry out to somebody. You need to go tell somebody. You need to tell the congregation. You tell us, we gonna call the police, right? We doing that. Because we can't put you to death. So some gotta be done to you, right? So rape is not okay. You gotta cry out. You need to do something, right? It says, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. Nobody was there to save her, right? So you can't rape nobody. Verse 28, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, so you dealing with a woman that ain't promised to nobody, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, right? They be found, mean it was consensual, right? Then the man that lay with her shall give unto her damsel, the damsel's fathers, 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he have humbled her. So, brothers, if you sleep with a woman, she a virgin, you got to go pay that dowry to her father, right? Be it her father is around, she knows her father is alive. You got to go pay that dowry to her dad. And you can't put her away. You can't never put her away. It say that he may not put her away all his days. Ain't no no, ain't no dang but. Ain't no damn but. All right, you can't put her away because you was the first man to lay with her, and you did it without her father's permission. So you gotta keep her. All right, it says a man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. That's what Reuben did. That's going into land with your dad's wife. Let's get that in First Chronicles chapter 5. Can't do that. First Chronicles chapter 5, verse 1. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but for as much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was not given unto the sons of Joseph. His birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, and the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. So he lost his birthright for that, for sleeping with his father's house. You can't discover for sleeping with his father's wife. You can't discover your father's skirt. You can't go into your dad's wife. That's the type of thing they had going on in Corinth, right? Let's go to First Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, it is reported commonly that there is fornication among you. So that's fornication, right? That's the Greek way to say all that what we just read about sleeping with a betrothed one. That's fornication, which is adultery, right? Which is breaking the laws of marriage. It says it's sexual immorality. So he said it is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. So the Gentiles wasn't even doing stuff like that. That not as much as they was doing it in Corinth. He says reported commonly that brothers is going and popping they dad's wife, man. You can't do that. It says, and ye are puffed up and have not rather mourned. Y'all giving this brother props over this, that he that have done this deed might be taken away from among you. So that brother should have been put out, right? But they kept him around, right? That's a sin worthy of death before Yahweh Shah came. And if you're doing it even after he came, and if you're doing it when he come back, you will be put to death, right? So fornication is off, all sorts of it. Rape is fornication. Sleeping with a brother's wife is fornication, right? That's adultery as well. All of that's breaking the laws of marriage. Rape is adultery. All of that's adultery and fornication, sexual immorality, all right? So that's all for the day. Let me go. Well, yeah, that's it for the day. Most are willing, man. This one gets uploaded up. I don't know what happened. Like I said, something happened in the last version of it. One get up there, but most are willing. You was edified. All right. This brother Nashan, New Wine Congregation of Israel, signing off. Shalom.